Hey there, folks. I came on today because I want to talk with you guys about the current racist in the White House and just talk a little bit about who actually hangs out with terrorists, who actually hangs out with people who are known to kill American citizens. Because you might have heard this story about a reporter named Jamal Khashoggi. And what happened is he was a citizen of the United States of America, and sadly, he was murdered um, in the consulate of Saudi Arabia at the hands of, allegedly, at the hands of Saudi agents. And, you know, the facts are that Donald Trump actually hangs out with people who agree with these types of sentiments. It's the same thing. He was recently hanging out with a guy from Turkey. Um, and, the Turkish prime minister has a horrible human rights record. There's been just atrocity after atrocity over there, and it's not even a question of whether or not Despot Don is associating with people who endanger American lives. He, the president, straight up endangers American lives by making all of these horrible choices for our soldiers. And, it's, to me, it's unbelievable what he had to say about those Congress people. Now, I myself don't have a lot of respect for the institutions of the Congress and Senate. It's not realistic, the type of business that they do up there. It's state-sanctioned graft is what it is. But to use the term "they can go back where they came from" is specifically a racist term, and it's not unusual or out of place for the president, because he has repeatedly and openly declared himself a white nationalist. He even embraced uh, Ku Klux Klan ideology and language in his campaign. So for him to make that type of a statement, it's not out of place. Sadly, what's happening is really important issues that are desperate, that are threatening our country, instead are being ignored. Like, for instance, what's happening to our veterans from war that are coming back from the battlefields, or the way that our prisoners are being treated who are inside of jails, whether they're refugees or whether they're uh, political, socioeconomic, victims. Because let's face it, our jails are largely filled with poor people because police use the courts as a an instrument against poverty. And groups like companies like Core Civic and Geo Group, they're responsible for a lot of the policies that are being put out by Despot Don. So you have these corporations that profit off of incarcerating people, and as a result of it, you have people like Donald Trump who are acting as the sock puppet for these criminal enterprises that make their money off of desperate mistreatment of criminals. And then you do obviously have the House and Senate complicit in this by funding these concentration camps, because these concentration camps are operated by Core Civic and Geo Group. And they do it at an enormous profit for their shareholders. So for our government to fund that it's disgusting. It's unconscionable. But I did want to come on and talk about those tweets that the president made most recently, because I see it as misdirection. Obviously there are much more pressing issues in our country, like why do we have concentration camps where small children are dehydrated to death? Why do we have concentration camps where small children are dehydrated to death? Why do we have that? It seems a little bit more important than is the president saying racist things Or is he having some sort of locker room conversation? Or maybe he's a human trafficker who hangs out with people like Jeffrey Epstein and traffics in young women through Trump's modeling agency. Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, I do appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. I hope you have a great rest of your day out there, and I will talk with you again very soon.